live and in color. I done just got through doing. There's a lot to talk about. It depends on what section of the section you want to talk about. If you want to talk about the entertainment section, where everything right now is being dominated by Puffy. If you want to talk about sports, we can. The gambling, it's crazy right now. Adam Silver got a lot of explaining to do. hmm What's he going? What's up? What's up? Thanks for your. I just got your reaction to the Puffy, William, and Harry. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. I got that one last night. I hadn't. So I don't, with Harry and William and all that, everything with Harry. And I hadn't really knew that they were in the same world, going to parties. I'm like, wow. Saw the pictures with him, Puffy, and Kanye, because I don't think I took it too serious back in the 08, 09. I didn't take it too serious. Shrugged my shoulders. Come to find out, but everybody be at them Puffy parties. I'm telling you. And why I said this thing was going to be more serious is that Puffy, Jay-Z, the industry, it's going to be very, very demonic. It's about to go down with a lot. And do I think it's going to the sports world? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. When you see Robert Kraft hanging out with Meek Mills and Meek Mills and Puffy, I mean, I'm just saying this stuff is a lot more connected than you can imagine. It's about to go crazy. So that's what's up. What's up with you? What's up? What's up? Yeah, cause Meek Mill and Puffy, they were, yeah, and then Meek Mill got dissed by Drake, which is hilarious to me. That's how I knew. That's where the Starburst kicked into gear. Okay, what's happening? What's happening from Turkey? Glad to see. Is Turkey as great as I? What do you think about your country? Do tell me. I want to know from someone from Turkey. But yeah, Meek Mill. Oh Lord, oh, it's bad, yo. It's bad. This thing is in everything. So now we ain't just talking sports and music separately. We talking like, yeah, because the LeBron thing. I mean, you do know with Jay-Z and all that, that's all connected. It's gonna be something that you ain't seen. I'm telling you right now. I'm going one step further than some other people because I'm telling you it's connected to other things. Nah, Istanbul. No, I don't. I heard of it though. But tell me how much you like Turkey. Tell me, would you recommend visiting? Tell me more about it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Subliminal and not so subliminal. When I asked you after the Super Bowl what you thought about Usher, right? And there's always that tie-in with Jay-Z and Beyonce, but then he was a part owner of who? Who was he a part owner of? Now it wasn't that big of an ownership, but who was he a part owner of? Do you remember? His little 15% ownership. Who was he a part owner of? Let me see if you can guess. Talking about Usher. No, 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 no. I'll give you a big hint. NBA. No. You want to know my conspiracy theory? What is Dan Gilbert, Cleveland? Remember? Do you remember? Nope. The Cavaliers. Do you don't remember? See, this is why I'm so like these things are tied together. Like these things are tied together. And you ain't got to worry about retracting them. It's cool, but that's why they tied together. They are tied together. That's why I asked you. These worlds are tied together. What did Skip Bayless just say? Oh. Well, okay, so with that, right, that's only because if they go after Baby Williams and they go after Cash Money and then Lil Wayne. And Lil Wayne already did a bid already. But Lil Wayne ain't heard nothing but Baby Williams though. And the one that was associated with him, he's on Vlad TV because he did a 20-year bid. So they already got you know. So Biden claims undocumented immigrants built country after similar stimulus on Middle East. He tripping. Oh, he talks like a crackhead. He is tripping. I got to see what he says because I know his dementia setting in. Hmm. Creepy what? I don't know who you are, so you got to explain yourself. Because when you come in here and you say stuff, you better tell me who you are. I wonder why people come here and waste all my time. I don't even know why they come in here doing that mess. Yeah, they do. Oh yeah, by the way, thank you for I like when you get when you I guess what Two Raw was talking about the commentary. I didn't touch that about Jordan's wife and all that. I did make a remark in the comment section, but I'm not gonna touch that. Jordan's personal life right now ain't the same as it was with Juanita. Thank goodness for him. Thank goodness for him. He got all that out of his system, what he was doing. I mean, he was a dog to Juanita. And it's been documented. Media covered his behind in that regard. I guess if they want to make LeBron to be the family man compared to Jordan, I guess that's why they may have a go at him with that. But I'm just saying, but Jordan was a dog back then. He was a dog. There's no ways about it. 'Cause Juanita had quite the statement. Well, nothing wrong with that. I ain't gonna have no problem with Marcus saying that. See, because you got him mess with these gold diggers, you better go run to somebody. Well, you can get your pockets took. And that's what Larsa was doing. Larsa was just for a good time and a ride. She went in love with that kid. She went in love with him. She just playing his pockets because he got that name. I think it was just to get one over on Scotty. She was preparing who she was gonna mess with next. See, if he had never been with an older woman like that, so he didn't know the game. She'll put game on your butt. So sometimes you gotta learn out the hard way. hmm He'd have had his hands full though if she was in her 30s though. Especially if she could still get if she was trying to get pregnant or something, he'd have been in real trouble. But she's for the streets, hanging out with them Kardashians and 304 like I'm rolled. Sometimes I don't touch certain stories because they just write themselves. I mean, yes, just so when I talk on here, right, there's things I could probably do for clicks and views. I just don't want to do them because then they don't sit right with me. And unless something develops more where I jump on it, certain things I ain't gonna touch. I don't really like giving her the time of day because I just think she's a bad case gold digger, and I think she's using Scotty, and she's using, you know, and she's trying to latch on to something, you know. I'm sure Michael told Marcus, yo, I could have had that 15 ways, and she still be trying to holler at me, but don't touch it. But you got to find out the hard way. So, oh, you want to start this up again? No, 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 because no, we'll see what happens in the postseason. No, that's only for certain guys. He's not in that criteria. With the refs' help, did you see my video with the refs' help? They play better without LeBron, but they did get some help. I mean, come on now. You had a plus 20 plus free throw attempts. Come on now. Even though Giannis tanked about 8 of them, but still. I don't know how good you looked. You still didn't play no defense. You just match up with them really good because of the style, because they don't utilize Brook Lopez. If Brook Lopez was utilized right and they had some interior on the defense, you'd have a problem. They should have beat y'all last night. They're just not a good team. It don't hurt when the refs giving you the fouls though. Let's keep that in mind. Let's keep that in mind. I know you still got to win the games, but it don't hurt that you got the free throw disparity. That does help you. I don't care what nobody says. It helps out because it slows momentum down. It's a momentum changer. If we play those games without all the free throws, you ain't in the situation you in, and you battling to be a 500 team. Don't. I've been watching. I watched. You had that game last night. You had that game against Toronto. You had that game against Indiana. You had about 4 or 5 games. There was either a suspect call or them rest with them free throws, and that's the reason why you came out in some of half those games. Wasn't for that, you'd be just barely battling Golden State. Think about all they didn't had to do just to get you where you are. I wouldn't get too excited. I wouldn't get too excited. Because if you ever go on a cold streak, you're done. You got to play like near flawless basketball just to be where you are. You're not a you're not a good team. Yeah, I saw that. I saw what he did. How did he go all the way that long without only one personal foul, though? That's what I want to know. What's happening? How does this impact LeBron's legacy? What do you mean? Do give me your question, because I got to get into totality when you ask me how does this impact LeBron's legacy. Meaning what? Okay. Yeah, because I give him a chance to explain himself, and I'm not getting any answers. I'm gonna give him about a minute to clarify what he means. This is what I got to deal with, though, and this is true. I get these LeBron trolls over here too. They be watching. I think if you talk about them in the light they don't like, they got to come at you. Because I talk about him in the way I do, and then I talk about Trump too, and then these cats just can't help themselves. So, but all I was saying to you is that you know, they played good, but they're not a great team. I'm still not sold on them. As great as Anthony Davis plays, they're not a dominant team. I just don't. It just doesn't. It doesn't take it to a level where I'm thinking, okay. Truth is, they won 2 games against Milwaukee. They could have gone either way. That's just the facts. It just happened to go their way, but it could have gone either way. I'm not exactly getting excited about a team that gives up all the points they do. You do understand where I'm coming from. Your defense is lackluster, and I just don't feel them like that. Well, you do too. You do too. You do too. You ask me right now, I think they're a better team than the Lakers. There's quite a few teams I got over Lakers. I still got them over the Lakers. Think Dallas could. We'll see what happens with Minnesota. Obviously, Denver's the team to beat. So, what's happening, brother? Gallon, love for one another. That's the biggest problem. The love for one another, because it's all fundamentally institutionalized, systematic that we don't love and respect one another. We don't work together. If we work together, we wouldn't be running through these obstacles. If we supported one another, we wouldn't be going through these obstacles. Um, well, that's a whole nother separate topic, but that's another topic, because that comes along after we get through how we treat one another. But that is tied to it, actually, because if you feel like you dancing and shuffling, you think you're going to get over and get a rise out of stuff. See, the problem is that's why Puffy is such a polarizing, but a part of why this is what I'm talking about. Look at his career. He got paid to front and run for white mafia based situation. And this is how you get ahead. And this is what he did. And you sell your soul. That's a great example. He showed you this lifestyle. He showed you what you can have and all these riches. But what it doesn't show you is fundamentally giving back and taking care of community, and also, living within and doing with folks. That's what it doesn't show you. See, he's a lesson. He's a whole lesson on by what I can unwrap it, because when you get into the bucket and the cooning and shuffling, well, you have to give up something to get something. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. He did. I saw exactly where he was coming from. I just think that when you look at this, that whole industry, what they tell black men, this is what you got to do. This is what we want from you. and you end up selling liquor and marijuana. You end up doing everything that's a stereotype along with your content. And this is how it's pushed as an agenda around the world. And they have you put in position, you know, and they make him out like he's some type of superhero. They spend crazy amounts of money on a guy who's not even a musical talent. That should tell you something. That should tell you something, you know. So that business manipulates minds and manipulates worlds, and it has people selling their souls. And so we see this on TV. We see this in the communities. How are we gonna get out? How are we gonna get a piece of it? They said, well, you can own your own label. You can do this. This is what you got to do. But you don't see the fact that all the people that were associated with him either did prison time or died. Or the women were just, with having with Faith Evans and Mary J. by association with Puffy or Little Kim. You look at it. It's all connected. And the reality is the dysfunction is real because it's tied into so many. The thing about it is that it's tied into bigger problems. And we get distracted. We want what everybody else got. And we don't take care of what we got. So, yeah, I think the elder was saying, he's procrastinating like how they taking him out, whatever. And it was a good video. I think I've seen a lot of videos that have been good on Puffy. It's a very fascinating contrast because there's a lot of layers to a lot. Excuse me. So, and it's just beginning. You're going to be hearing about this from his storyline is going to be amazing. So yeah, it's gonna be real compelling how it all goes down. But yeah, brother G, that's why I tell you, there's a lot that's tied to this. He got arrogant, and smug, but he got it with Clive Davis and Andre Harrell. See, it's yeah. I'm not arguing. Again, you're accountable for yourself. However, you emulate your atmosphere. You emulate what they let you get away with. And you get to be a big old kid in a candy store. Because the entertainment industry ain't nothing but a big old version of Romper Room. They got adult toys. They got adult games they play. They sell you on a lifestyle. And it's a big old pinata. Quincy is involved in a lot of freaky stuff. He's a green light to a lot of stuff. He is a green way to a lot of stuff. But will it get back to stick to him? And you gotta kind of wonder too, because Quincy's 90, Clive is 90. Somebody gonna get rotted out before they go. But I don't know. They know though. They know how it goes. But Puffy got caught. The black guy holding what the white guys behind him was pushing. And Quincy played in that sea of water too. He turned them out in the pockets. I ain't never heard about him turning them out physically, but I heard he definitely turned out pockets. He turned pockets out. And he may have done it physically, but I know pockets, he turned pockets out. Because what ended up happening is they end up getting pimped out. He did it to a lot of fighters. That's why when you see somebody like Floyd Money Mayweather, you got to give him his due. Regardless of what you think about him, he didn't get pimped. Not like that. Larry Holmes to Tyson, Ali, Don King ran a number on him. He ran a number. And he could talk that talk too. He talked that talk. Because 40 years ago, he was involved with the Jackson's Victory Tour, and that was a disaster. But he was the promoter. But I haven't heard anyone come out and say Don was freaky deaky, but I wouldn't be surprised. I think there was, I know he had some altercations though. He used to get on my nerves with Only in America. He's a businessman, and actually it's a smart move because he'll do what the NBA won't do. He'll do what the NBA won't do. She's hotter than Hades right now, so you got a white girl to jump and play for that. She could be like the Taylor Swift of basketball right now. They slurping her hardly. And if he can get a woman to jump on his league before the NBA did something like that, they wouldn't. But ain't no white owner gonna do it because she can play, and she might have a Taylor Swift ism about her, but she kind of plain, if you know what I mean. She don't really. She's girly girl, but she don't look like like they looking at her like okay. So I think that's what's up does work against her. She was considered. I'm just gonna keep it 100. She was considered like what's the one that worked with Popovich? You know what I'm talking about. She a nice looking white chick. Yeah, she looked like you know imagery wise with her game. Becky Hammond, yeah, because Becky's a nice looking chick. If she look like Becky Hammond, she get that. And I'm gonna tell you something. The way they play zone defense today in the NBA, why not take a chance on her? I mean, I'm sure she probably can outshoot some of them turkeys. You jack up about 15 shots a game. Sure, why not? So it's a smart move by Cube. I wouldn't, because it's nothing to really see. For the simple fact, we're not going to see anything that what I consider classic. I mean, um, what you want to see, Shea versus Jason Tatum, or Shea versus Jalen Brown? I mean, because give me a good. You got to give me a good example. Of who you want to see? I don't know. Or De'Aaron Fox. I don't know, because I don't know if there's that kind of interest like that. When you say one on one, you got to have like a real battle. Fox would tear that behind up. Fox would tear that behind up. He's meant for those kind of showcases. Tatum ain't really meant for that kind of showcase. De'Aaron got crazy inside pick pop, left, right, side to side. Tatum couldn't give him a run outside, but see, without posting up, if this was about 5 or 6 years ago, yes, not now. But then, yeah, not now. I think 5 or 6 years ago, yeah, I give you that. That would have been the must see. Actually, that's your best one yet. That would have been the one. Nah, Paul George is banged up now. I like the Steph Kyrie one the best of the three. I think Fox takes Tatum. I think Paul George takes Sabonis because he's got that outside game when it's gone. But the Steph Kyrie one, that's the winner one right there. That's the one. That's the one. No, no. But I'll tell you this much: Jamal Murray will win. Jamal Murray's the most slept on talent I see going. No. The reason with that is because SGA, his moves would be sick. Steph had to pick and pop him. So, but I think the Steph Kyrie was still the best one. I think Jamal wins. Jamal against SGA would be interesting. There you go. Jamal against SGA. That would be interesting. Tell you, people be sleeping on Jamal Murray. Dude got crazy handles, low key. Not now. Kawhi can't stay healthy. Not now. No. No. You mentioned some interesting names, but not against the right person. That ain't one of them. I don't really want to see Kawhi Leonard or Paul George trying to battle nobody, except they're not in that same state. They're older now. Steph's about the only one of the old school. Because you have to have certain rules and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, to an extent, but I'm kind of bored with the whole thing. I'm kind of bored with it. I mean, why have a skills challenge and then you come up and bring that product up on Sunday? Just saying. Doesn't really do much for me. I think it's a waste of time. Hello, how you doing? Natasha Barrett, how you doing? Welcome aboard. Feel free to tell me where you're coming from and any questions that you may have. I'm glad to have you through. If they were using their skills the right way, yes. But when's the last time you seen them use their skills the right way? See, All Star Weekend is a dud. Everybody shoots 3 pointers every night, so and the slam dunk contest is yeah. There's only one that matters for me. Bonds versus McGuire. That was the most gangsters one I saw. I've seen others that I liked a lot, but that was like the creme de creme, if you must know. So I thought the one last year was going to be interesting because it, um, oh boy, from the Mariners, he had a big one. But yeah, like I said, there were some great ones. But it's just that Bonds and McGuire was like my favorite. For that was like, oh wow, they put on the show. But I've been some that I've liked a lot. Yeah, I've liked some quite a bit. Some like around that time. Yeah. All right. So let's see if somebody got some questions. Let's get into it. People coming through. See what they talking about. Yeah, yeah. That was like I said. There was some good ones. I like, I just had my personal favorites, but there were some good ones. But I don't talk about him no more. That name is obsolete. Psst. He became a senior citizen quickly. And he actually went into the old folks' home quickly. I mean, that cat was like a flash in the pan. Yeah. I'm not, you know what? I'm like, if don't, I mean, as long as we acknowledge Jokic is the best player in the league, you can pick who you want. I'm not going to, I know why Shaq likes him because he's carrying that team. He's aggressive. He has a quick first step. He gets his teammates involved. He's agile. I think he's a more I think he's a more prolific scorer than Penny, but everything else I can agree with. Because SGA does score a lot. And his game has gotten better and better with each year. He definitely gonna be a dude that uh he's if they get him the right piece, yeah, Chet's a good fit. They get another piece or two with that situation, they could be a problem. Because dare I say, they're about a Kevin Durant from running the West, even as great as Denver, or giving Denver a 7 game series. That's what they're missing is a guy who can spot, just shoot. That's all they need. Get a guy who can catch, shoot, and can kiss and literally throw 25, 30 up. That's Denver 6, 7 game series easy. That's the battle for the West. That's what they're missing. Yeah, but I'm talking about a guy that can really score though. Combined with that, they can go deep, but I gotta see that guy with SGA and Chad. But I mean, if you want to call him MVP, I'm not gonna argue with that. I still take Jokic, but I'm not gonna argue with that. And they ought to be appreciated though. I do too. And I know why Shaq don't want him to be MVP because if they win and he wins Finals MVP, he starts knocking on tougher door easily. He's moving up the food chain, and he's scary because bump what you thought you knew. You haven't really seen a center like him. And the fact that he can stroke the three ball and he gets triple doubles and he's got a squad that is consistent and nobody is really a sidekick to him is he's scary. He's scary. That's what makes him so scary. He could. He wins a ring this year, he do. And the scary part, he's got at least another 3 or 4 year window. That's the scary part. And they got the right pieces around him because they Aaron Gordon MVP and Aaron Gordon and you know MPJ, and then Jamal, and you got that bench and KCP. I mean, come on, now, Mike Malone. They're like they're like Popovich gave the baton and Mike Malone and the Golden State gave it to Denver. That's what you're seeing. I'm watching him right before my eyes. Oh, I mean, he's that good. Yeah, yeah, I'm sold on him because he's sitting on the next dynasty. And remember, if you ever remember the TV show Dynasty, they had the reboot. It was shot and filmed where? In Colorado. There you go. Yeah. So I do feel that way about him. Now. He does. He rotates. He gets he they balance speed, they balance depth. I mean, you get DeAndre Jordan, you can use him like that. I mean, they got a type of team that they can keep the basic nucleus together for 2 or 3 more years after this year. They got a chance to have a little dynasty. They do. They really do. Because they're gonna beat you with size and they can beat you with agility and versatility. So good luck with trying to beat them. Yeah, they they feed off of that. But it doesn't really matter anymore. There's no real home court advantage, I don't think. I mean, they help them out, but it's not like it was. That era is kind of gone. I think because guys shoot so many three balls and free throw shooting and everything that okay. There was a time I would have said a home crowd, but it does to an extent, but it's not like it's. So when they show up, when they show up, they don't show up till the second, third quarter. They're just as bad as the Laker crowd. In the playoffs, they come up, but they funny time. I don't really look at home crowds the same though. It's not like it was. See, that's the difference because now, yeah, they do. Um, it's not the way you remembered it. No, except their fans. Yeah, but again, I don't look at it like again, I'm looking at the NBA today, and because of the 3-point shooting and the barrages, it's not home court has the same meaning it once did. Mhm. Yeah. Well, the Celtics always been like that, but the thing is that it's different now because they got a predominantly black team. That's the funny thing when I think about the Celtics. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I already said that. I mean, they put everybody in, and now you don't even care because it's kind of like okay, but they won't put certain people in. They'll still make them wait, but they put a lot of people in. So yeah, Basketball Hall of Fame been watered down. Borderline, borderline. Now there's a couple of things. If he gets to 20,000 points, he'll get in. He's gotten the two runner-ups as an NBA player, so that works on his resume. But he needs 20,000 points, I believe, to get in. That's the barest minimum. And then I think close to 20,000, he's definitely in. I hope that makes sense when I say borderline. Because he's close. He's close right now with the two finals, and he just needs to get to 20,000 points. I don't think he even has to win a ring. I just think he has to get to 20,000 points because he'll have done enough to get to their criteria. But to really seal the deal, he wins a ring. Yeah. Because I think when you start looking at his career, the numbers is what's going on. The impact, the numbers. Okay. You got any questions, RD? Mm. Well, there's quite a few. So, I mean, I mean, Shaq's in '00s, Jordan's in '87, Karl Malone's in '97. Um, yeah, I mentioned him too. Bird '85. Yeah. Hmm. Well, yeah, because there's some people say Jordan probably should have gotten it, but I thought Karl Malone, it was memorable. He's been kind of forgotten. People kind of like act like they sleep on him, and I don't know why. As a player on the court, he was great. Um, yeah, because I mean, let's be realistic. After you get through Shaq and Dunk and the early '00s, the lines got blurred with who could have been MVP. So that's just the fact. So you know, so I know no one ever gives Carmelo his due. I know it's not fashionable, but I don't do political correctness here on that. I think he had a great year, and if they had an Eastern Conference, Western Conference MVP, he probably would have had about four. He was that good. He was the best player in the West. Moses Malone too. Moses Malone won three. Um, Bird was distinctive and he was tough and he was clutch and hmm. But Bird was incredible back then. Yeah, I mentioned it. Bird, Moses. That was a different era though. You know. Well, Kareem won the bulk of them back then. Hmm. Depends on who we are talking about. I mean, Kareem. I think Dave Collins won. Dr. J was in there, but he was in ABA. I'm just trying to think NBA because I don't know. Because again, if all things being equal, that's something we got to like take consideration with. So you might be on to something. I have to think about it because again, it was a different era. There was no 3 point line. It was still the bigs was clearly dominant. I think the problem is the '70s era is kind of seen as the non-happening, and again, I have to look at it. There's some great talents, obviously, but let's be realistic. The ABA was kicking their butt, and they weren't really bringing in people that were, you know, it was, you know, it's a lot of situation there that just it was just a name only. So I think if you say the toughest year, I'll say toughest in terms of talent because it didn't become the popularity contest because they didn't groom. Yeah, I have to say groom. They didn't groom them like they did '80s onward. So I'll give you that. They groom guys way more but today than they did then, but they groom them though. I'm not thinking that far, but I'll say Dr. J. Moses Malone, George McGinnis, George Gervin, and uh, Mel Daniels. So I'm gonna stop right there. And not really in particular position, but I'm just gonna come with those guys. But Dr. J for sure. Moses for sure. George Gervin for sure. And then I said Mel Daniels, and I mentioned uh, could throw George McGinnis in there. There was some guys, you know, there was some guys that were just incredible. If you never read the book by Terry Pluto, please do. Great book. I miss it though. I wish there was a counter to this whack NBA. Just like I wish there was a Negro Leagues and I wish there was a black NFL. I don't like what they got because it's embarrassing. I like Ice Cube's 3-on-3, but it's what we call it's good, but it's half baked. Now, if it was a starting five and you had guys, you know what they should do if they were smart. They take Ice Cube's big three against the NBA's big three and have it for All Star Weekend. But that's too much making sense. Yeah, back then because I think the '80s had the bigger ones because they had the 2 out of 3. And teams had the ball. You could get your butt sent packing. 40 years ago, the Sixers got knocked out by the Nets. Rockets used to knock the Lakers out like that. Missed that kind of quickness. Better than this stupid play-in tournament crap, which is garbage. Stupid. I miss the old way. But they got market to protect. The money to be made. So they want everything 7 games when they don't really need that. The '90s year was memorable because Denver beating Seattle was huge. There are some big upsets, and then not so big. But yeah, I'll give you that. Different era. Not a lot of postseason upsets since the '90s. No. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, Steve Young threw that pass to T.O. I remember because he took that shot over the middle and T.O. hung onto that rock. That's what T.O. had arrived. That's when he arrived. I'll never forget that one play. Steve Young was near the end of his career, though. Yeah. But I remember that, though. Yeah, well, they were good back then. I mean, once they figured out how to get by Dallas, because when Dallas fell off, that's when Green Bay, because Green Bay had Frisco's number. They could never mess with Dallas, though. Dallas turned they behind up. Dallas owned them until Barry Switzer took over, and then, well, that was the end of that. But up until that point, Dallas used to own them. Or they would beat them, you know. They were, Brett Favre won all those league MVPs, so yeah. That's when y'all were a threat. Aaron Rodgers didn't do that. Now Aaron's a more skilled quarterback, but Brett got the job done. And I'm going record and saying that Aaron had it easier era than Brett Favre did. Because Frisco and Dallas was nothing to sneeze at. Yeah. That defense back, I mean, I'm just telling you, you know. So he is. He sure as heck ain't gonna sit there and blue like Aaron did. Aaron saw more ghosts than Cam did against Von Miller. I'm like, come on, man. You gotta die for that. Aaron don't never put his body out. I told you that's why a great talent, but he just leaves so much on the table. And people tolerate him. I'm saying. And he had back to back games where he was a dud against Frisco and then against Tampa. I'm like, come on, man. And then you wonder why people shake their heads at you, don't listen to a word you say, and are indifferent to you. So, just saying. And good thing y'all got rid of him too. You say that. Um, NFL playing 2 games on Xmas. Mahomes. Pete Carroll ain't playing no more. He ain't coaching them no more. So unless he got another job. Seattle ain't play. So Kansas City playing. Carroll is gone. If you get marquee matchups, but if you get janky butt teams playing, it's horrible. Uh, I mean, like if we get Kansas City Philly or Kansas City Frisco or something like that, that'd be worth watching. But not to see Seattle, Minnesota, or some mess like that, or Atlanta and Tennessee or some corny. Just don't make it corny. You know what I mean? Don't make it corny. What they're gonna have? Kansas City against Seattle? That's corny. I hope that they don't do that mess. Nobody wants to see Mahomes against Geno. Unless Seattle's really good. Okay, I will. I hope not though. That's embarrassing. 25th falls on a Tuesday, so that wait a minute. Wait a minute. Leap year, so no, it's on a Wednesday. That is because it's 2 days because last year was on a Monday, so that's a Wednesday. Oh yeah, that is desperation. Well, they are. They are. They want to give people more football. They do cheap things, and yet they don't take care of their players. So go figure. But I mean, at least have two marquee teams. I mean, have games that are marquee, not just some old corny money grab. Just Kansas City against the Raiders, okay. Chargers, okay. Not against Denver though, not now. Unless Denver showed me something. Kansas against Miami, all right. Pittsburgh, all right. Make it where it counts. Buffalo, all right. Not something that's weak sauce. And believe me, if Aaron Rodgers or somebody that they like is playing, they're gonna do a flex. Watch. They'll definitely do a flex. I expect that. Because they know like we do. Ain't nobody want to sit and watch no whack teams play on no holidays. Ain't nobody gonna sit inside the house and watch. Except for when they have the Lakers on all the time and the Celtics mess. I like it when it's something different. It do feel good when it's something different though. So but they don't do different too much though. Well, I got mixed emotions about that. I got mixed emotions. I was in the Seattle area back then, and it was pretty. That it was touching in all the parts. I remember. I give you that. I know where you're going at with that. It's just that it was something about that period of time which was kind of hard to, you know, it's tough. It was tough because I'm not so sure that the right team got into Hall of Fame. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. Well, people be saying anything. I don't know where they come from. That's not just a troll. That's like a whole roll. That's like the bread truck saying anything. I'm like, I don't know what it was. But no, I remember it. I do like the NBA on the 25th too. Well, no, as long as it's good games, they always usually used to be good, you know. But let me go back to some messages we are talking about. The NFL is desperate, but we watch the NFL. That's the thing about it. We will watch football. We like the NBA on the 25th, but we more concerned with the NFL. MLB opening day is good because it feels like the weather's changed and then you get excited the first few days. It is something cool about it. Uh, I've generally liked it because, people batting or pitching and you get something great. There's a storyline. And then the reality hits in about 3 weeks later, but it is romanticized the first few days and week. So, well, that's why Adam Silver's in trouble right now. They got, I've said that. It looks like WWF. And I saw the Draymond takedown old boy yesterday in the game against Miami. They got issues galore. The All-Star game is a wrap. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. As a head who watched basketball from the late 70s, 80s, 90s, this is the most, and the OOs, this is the most desperate, deplorable thing I have ever, ever seen. The in-season tournament is a joke. The Lakers get a token. What does it mean? The play-in is embarrassing. They defend Draymond because he shows fight. Clay comes across kind of pompous. Now Clay's more talented, but Clay kind of act like he's got entitlement. And I think that because of the deterioration of what he meant as a player, that's why they have issue with. I don't know if they're gonna tolerate Draymond's antics, but he play like he's act like he's fighting. They don't think Clay is fighting. They think Clay thinks he's gonna come back to where he was 5, 10 years ago. And they're trying to tell him that guy ain't there no more because your shots don't flail in, your defense ain't quite the same. And you have moments. He got off last night. But that's why. Because Draymond fits in to what the little schemes. It's not that he's a better player, but he fits in. Remember, I told you sometimes guys fit in. Fitting in and being that dude is two different things. Okay. There are guys who are that dude, but then there are guys who fit in. Guys who are that dude are top tier. They are the alpha. The guy that fits in is that he represents the team because with that team, he can do what he do. Yeah. But you got to remember something. Kerr's an old school curmudgeon and not giving up the new. He ain't giving up the new. You got to earn it. And let's be realistic. Clay did earn that for a long time. Clay's one of my favorite players to watch. And it's tough to tell a guy that has been so instrumental to your team's success of what he's done that he's got to ride the pine and come off as a six. It's tough. But, Kamingas was better, but that's just tough. It's tough. Because Clay and Steph changed the course of basketball. They were the Splash Brothers, most impactful dynamic duo ever as far as the backcourt goes. And it's tough to tell the dude that ego that you're not no longer that guy. So Yeah, he's headed towards old folks home. If he if he was starting, he would be heading to old folks home. He's senior citizen now, but he would be headed to old folks home if he started. He'll give you some good moments. He'll give you moments. But starting some of his stat line nights, it's definitely, yeah. He's got to understand that. Now he's had some bad games. That's why Kaminga's that he had some bad games. His scoring was off, his defense was off. I seen him looking old and lost. I have to keep it 100. Shoot, you talk to somebody who definitely look. I'm a big Klay Thompson fan because I think Klay could have been one of the top 75, and I think Klay is one of those guys that in his peak in his prime gets overlooked. Yeah, he's had some bad games this year. There've been some brutals because he's left Steph on no man's island. He missed shots, defense was off, his steps is off, and he just got old. Sometime it happened like that. I don't make this stuff up. I hate to have to say all that, but I have to call it like I see it. Because if he was crazy enough to think he's going to get the kind of money he's proposing, he's reduced. Yeah, he might could play 2 or 3 more years, but at what kind of level? You're going to have moments where he looks like, okay, he's in that. Yeah, and then times done changed because he's self-checked now. He's like that self-checkout line. He You're never going to call a guy, he's not in bum status because but he's senior citizen to almost old folks. It's not much there anymore. And it's no knock because he's a 4-time champion. He's been in 6 finals. He was an integral part. But it's just that sometimes them wheels start to come off. And it just ain't what it was. And it happens to the best of them. Maybe if he can get LeBron James a drug dealer, maybe he can. Anyway. Yeah, it is. It really is. It's sad to say. It really is. Because I think he can play 2 or 3 more years. But the only reason why he'd be playing a couple more years is just the stat pad. You got that one. Stat pad and probably get close to 20,000 points or something like that, for stats. But as far as like that guy that we watched and enjoyed, that's gone. That's gone. That guy ain't coming back. That guy did his last bid when they beat Memphis, when he blocked Ja Morant from behind and when they won the finals. That's the last time that guy was there, and that was 2 years ago. That guy ain't been back since. Against the Lakers last year, he had some already moments, but he wasn't that dude. He is. I just got through saying when I say head towards old folks, that's what I said. Because he can't turn it on like he can have games like last night he scored 20. He can have those 25, 27 games. He looked good against the Lakers, but it ain't consistent. It's once every 6, 7 games. It's not consistent. His body's taking a beating and he's spent. Now that don't mean he can't get high if they get in the playoffs. That don't mean that game 6, 7 Klay. Hey, look, it's a cold business, guys. Somebody got to tell you. But he's supposed to sit there and lie and say, "Oh, you're doing great, and we're happy to be in the play-in tournament because you're so hot." No. There was a time when Steph wasn't on engine, he'd be on engine, and that team would roll. And they are a play-in tournament team because they went with the sidekicks and the stuff, and it didn't go nowhere. So Kamingas comes in, and now they actually got a chance to maybe make the playoffs. But they're like on the chin of the chin. They're just not good anymore. They're not scaring nobody. They're just a mediocre team. As Bill Parcells used to say, they are what their record is. And they're very mediocre. And it's not so much, it's just that the whole league done caught up with them. And it's not so much that anyone's necessarily better than Steph. It's just that if we let Steph do his or Steph that's not going on, they can't beat us. They don't play no defense. They too small in the cakes, and they don't have another person that can catch fire because Clay don't catch fire no more. Kamingas does his part. Looney's all right in spurts, what he does on defense. He plays hard and everything, but you don't get nothing out of Draymond. And they got role players that are decent, but they're not, you know. So, what you gonna do? So, you got to call it what it is, or he lose his job. And Curry ain't giving up his job. He just got that big bag. He ain't getting up his job, so he had to go with what was happening. That's what's up. That's the reality. If your favorite players play long enough, they get old, and eventually they got to go. I've seen it happen before. You know, I remember when it happened to him. Body broke down, and he didn't have the teammates around him. They were young, you know, and okay. And what happened was is that the league took over. It was a changing of the guard. Dirk speed him. You go from Dirk, then you go to OKC. Yeah, well, I'm just saying that just happens. Well, Farr's case, Minnesota, he took a pounding. He looked all right that one season and just got, Peyton Manning, his body was broke when he was in Denver. And Shaq just stayed on about 2, 3 years too long. Cleveland should have been his last stop. Phoenix was his last where he looked good. After that, it was just washed up, washed down. So he just chasing a ring and chasing something. And he was, you know, it was just not a good look. But cats stick around because they think maybe I get hot, maybe something I'll just, land something. That's why they do it. So ego be getting it. But yeah. But Kobe had played all he could play. He played hard. He played out. So, and I, again, I understand. I get it. I get it. Unfortunately, guys play long enough to get old. You know, it's just kind of like that with music too. Yeah, he did that to get a ring though. He didn't finish what he started in L.A. So I got why he did it, but he was done. He was done. He was done. And that was his last chance, and I got it. So I was glad for him too, but I knew he was done. If you still got it, you know. But sometimes I see some artists that you can definitely tell they still moving, but it ain't quite the way it was. Depends on what artist we're talking about. I like to see them get old as far as age. I don't like to see them still, a shell or not the same. Because like when they're not singing as well as they did, or they don't sound as good as they did, it can be tough. You know, that's the tough part for me. That's why you don't see a lot of rappers. Most people don't like to see rappers get old. If you think about it, because it is a young man's game. Oh, there's a lot of them. You can name them. You can thank them. It's a lot of them. Name them, I'll tell you. A lot of them. Oh yeah, my dinner just ready too. I wouldn't call him washed up, but his problem is that he the problem is that with hip hop, he doesn't want to do hip hop anymore, and he wants to be seen as an all around artist, and that's not how it's going to work. So I wouldn't call him washed, because he's still good, but it's just that, you know, I don't look at him as washed. I don't. But as far as rappers go, yeah, as a rapper, he's washed. As an artist, I don't think he's washed, but, you know. Yeah, that's not too surprising, because Cuba was on them boats. I think I told you about that. I told you that he was messing with them on that boat. He was grabbing something. I think I told you. They're going to take Cuba out. I know Cuba's grabbing on them white girls. Cuba done. Cuba done. Wow. Cuba ain't been right for a long time, so I have to go look that one up. But thank you though for the heads up. I'll be on for a few more minutes because I'm gonna eat a little bit, but I gotta look that up with Cuba. Wow, Cuba. You know, his brother came out. Omar came out and said he ain't with that stuff. His brother came out and said that. Yeah, he grabbed her, but that's not what got him in trouble though. That's not what got him in trouble though. He grabbed her though, but problem is that he been on some grabbing some other stuff too. I don't know what's up with Cuba. I don't know. But wow. He was a happy brother, but he messed up. I have to look this up though. I'm gonna have to look that one up with him. All right, I'm gonna give it a go eat. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk more about that. Peace out. Catch you. Thank you. Appreciate you. I'm out.